Not many people talk in depth about this part of people's journey where you set a goal, you get excited, you start working on said goal, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you seem to hit a brick wall, a plateau. The results aren't there, there's no feedback. That honeymoon period from the beginning where you was getting excited of starting a new goal, a new journey, a new project is all gone, and suddenly you feel like you're left in this messy middle where things feel like they're falling apart and there's no advice from anyone and no one warned you about what to expect and how to get through this phase. And now necessarily when we reach this stage in our careers, in our side hustles or anything like that, it's more of an emotional plateau than it is a physical one, because a lot of the time physically whatever goal we set out to achieve, we can normally achieve it physically, whether it be starting a side business, starting going to the gym, or eating clean, anything, reading, journaling, all this kind of stuff. You know, physically, we can normally achieve them goals. But the hard thing is mentally, emotionally, when you start working towards them goals and the results aren't coming, and you're kind of in this middle zone, would you call it, where the progress is slow, there's no results to show for anything you've done so far, and like I say, all of a sudden that kind of exciting feeling is starting to fade away as you get deeper and deeper. And it kind of feels like at times you're in a forest, a foggy forest with nowhere to turn. You don't know where to go. What is the best action to take? Do you go back to what you're doing a week ago? Do you try this? Do you try this? There's no examples of anything working. And all of a sudden, you're stuck in the middle of nowhere, it feels like, with nowhere to turn. And so at the start, we know, of course, that motivation is high. Motivation, as much as a lot of people knock it, motivation is key in getting the ball rolling. Like, 1 minute you could be sat on the couch, the sofa, whatever. Next minute you could be up doing whatever task. Motivation is amazing for that. However, it's when you get to the middle and there's no results, there's nothing screaming at you to say this is working, go this way. This is where discipline kicks in, and that's why people say discipline is so important, because a lot of the time motivation gets the ball rolling, but then once you kind of get to that messy middle where you're in the middle of a forest, mentally foggy, you don't know what to do, where to go. What you thought was this path was so easy suddenly turns to not be so easy anymore, and that's where discipline will get you through. I say will, again, it depends what your end goal is, whatever, but discipline, if you have that, that is what will push you through. And then at the end, we loop back to motivation. That is what the results then motivate you again. So it's a constant cycle of motivation starts it, then you get to the middle kind of area where you need discipline to push through. You get round here, and obviously, like I say, results start coming in. That motivates you again, and then you go back round the cycle again, possibly. So we've all been there. I've been there numerous times in my life. So I want to talk about a few things today where I've been there and how I try and overcome it and what I've done to get through them sort of messy middle periods. And so there's different things that I've tried over my life where I have experienced this exact thing, where in the beginning motivation, then it requires discipline. And the two main things that I've experienced that in is when I did YouTube. So for example, if we go back right now, quick story. Between the ages of 9 and 10 to 15, I did YouTube. The most I got up to was earning £150 a month. Now at the time, I was in school, of course, from the ages of, I think it was year 6 all the way up to year 11. I've seen people like KSI, Syndicate Project, X-Jaws, C-Nanners, Hutch. Again, all these people from absolutely years ago go from not nothing, but from little to now doing it full time. And as a kid, that was my absolute dream. But when I got to 15, 16, I was only earning £150 a month, and I felt like I'd give it my all, I can't do any more. And I felt like an adult before I was an adult. I was 13 years old, coming over from school, making a video, editing it, getting it out, next day, same thing. Do you know what I mean? I felt like I worked a full-time job before even leaving school. If I could turn back time right now and knew what I knew now, that'd be great. Again, that's the whole thing about hindsight and stuff like that. But anyway, I leave school, I quit YouTube, I get a minimum wage job. Instead of earning £150 a month, I'm now earning £150 a week. I'm thinking this is amazing, I can save my money, buy a car, do all this stuff. But then you fast forward 4 years, I start YouTube again. Now, I'm thinking, I know how to do YouTube, I want out of this job, I know what I'm doing, nothing's changed, there's still the same format, still the same way to record, blah, 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 blah. Start YouTube again, and guess what? No views, nothing. But the motivation was there to start again and get out of my job. So I managed to keep pushing and keep pushing. But it wasn't until, so let's say I started that channel in 2019, 2020, it wasn't until 2 or 3 years later when I was averaging 5, 10, 15k views a video. So it took me 2 or 3 years to get back what I kind of lost in a way. Obviously, I wasn't averaging 15k views back when I was 15 years old. But anyway, it took me to that point to get there. And all I'm saying is the motivation started me, but I had to upload every single day from 2020 to 2023, 3 years uploading every single day to get to 10k views a day. Now, without going too deep into YouTube, you've got people like Mr. Beast, all this watch time retention and all this kind of stuff. It's a different ball game to what it was 5, even 6 years ago, even 10 years ago. But, you know, I've been there, and even the same with the gym. You know, everybody's been there with the gym. The gym is probably the most common thing we've all been there with. Where you start the gym, you get motivated, I'm going to go, I'm going to do this, I'm going to eat X, Y, and Z, I'm going to go 3 days a week, 5 days a week, 7 days a week, whatever it is. We all start the gym, and then all of a sudden this wall hits where you go, nothing's happening, there's nothing new in the mirror, and we've all experienced that. And for me at the time with the gym, probably a little bit more of a personal thing for me, but because I quit YouTube in, let's say, March, April 2023, by the time I start going to the gym, sort of back end, nearly start of 2024, I had no other alternative, and I like keeping myself busy. I had no ideas for a side hustle, so the gym was all that I had. And so for me, the gym became my new side hustle in a way. And it's difficult in the middle. Like I say, with YouTube, for me, when I went back and the views weren't there, it's difficult to keep uploading every single day. There was doubts, there was fears, there was that feeling of, why am I even trying this again? I should just go back, work full time, get promotion, go down that route. Why am I going back and doing all this all over again? You know, and the same with the gym. You know, I've been there 3 weeks in, 5 weeks in, 2 months in. You're not really noticing a difference. Are you eating the right thing? Are you training the right way? You watch this video, it says you should train this way, you should train that way, you should eat this, you should eat that, should eat this few hours before going to gym. We've all been there. And like I say, the only thing that helps you through that middle bit is discipline. And you could say right now with this, what I'm doing, TikTok, I've been on 130 followers for about a month. Can't seem to grow that amount. This YouTube channel, I've been doing it for 6 weeks. I'm on 17 subscribers. I am in what you call the messy middle, the foggy bit, the forest, where I feel like, what am I doing wrong? What am I doing right? There's no results from anywhere. You know, no YouTube videos hitting 1k views, 10k views, 20k views. I'm just in the middle. And what do I have to do? I just have to keep pushing forward, keep looking. Again, not blindly pushing forward. You don't just push forward in a blind direction. Obviously, I've got to try and motivate myself to look at where I'm going wrong, look at the different paths that I can take, and then use my discipline to get me there. And again, I'm not saying this as if it's easy, because it's not. You know, I could upload this video, gets 1 view. Nothing I can do about that. And I'm starting to get to the point in my life as well where I'm just kind of trusting in the timeline. If it's going to take a month, 6 months, so be it. What can I do? I'm sick of trying to play God with everything and trying to handle the timeline and like, oh, this should happen by here and I should have 1,000 followers by here and I should have 100k. I've done that so many times with different things, or it be YouTube, side hustles, the gym, eating clean. I should be at this weight 2 weeks in. I need to lose this much weight. I should do it by now. You know, and that's not to say don't give it your all, don't give it 100%, of course. But I'm trying not to be too attached to the current results. I know the results will come. I've just got to sort of put that to one side and just go, I'm going down this way, tunnel vision. I'm going to look for clues, look to ways to improve, use my discipline and just head in this direction. You know, because too many times I've tried to structure the timeline to how things should happen and when they should happen. So if anything, I'm making this video to kind of tell you that I've been exactly where you are throughout multiple things in my life. Again, the 2 things I mentioned today, YouTube and gym, are just the main big ones, but there's different areas of my life where I've been in that exact situation, and unfortunately the only thing that can get you through is discipline. You know, I bet you every single creator, every single person that's trying to do what you're trying to do has been there where there's no results, there's no growth, there's no nothing. And you start having them deep thoughts about, what am I doing? Why should I carry this on? You know, and you've got to have the discipline, and also not just discipline, because again, you can go down the tunnel, you can go down the path, but it might not lead anywhere. And this not to say don't do that, I'm saying do that. But I'm also starting to think now, I can't just blindly upload without slightly getting better along the way. You know, if I slightly get better along the way and use my discipline, results will start to come. you know, but I've been there. I've exactly been where all yous are. I'm there right now myself. Again, 17 subs on this channel, 130 followers on TikTok. I'm uploading every day, 3 times to TikTok, 1 time to YouTube every other day. And guess what? I'm not making any money. I'm not gaining loads of views, loads of subscribers. I'm not doing any of that. So I'm in that exact situation, but I've been there in the past, and I know the only way to get through it is discipline, repetition, consistency, and that is what will get you through.